So, what if I told you that a huge chunk of modern history, I mean, everything from the shape of our economies to who wins and who loses wars, has been decided by a single black liquid? That's what we're diving into today. The incredible power of oil and why countries have literally been willing to go to war for every single drop. And honestly, that's no exaggeration. I mean, think about it. From the gas in our cars to the plastics in basically everything in our homes, oil is this invisible engine that runs our entire world. Its value is just so fundamental, so absolutely essential, that it got this perfect nickname, black gold. And that right there is where the trouble starts. Because when you have a resource that's that vital, but there's only a finite amount of it, well, it doesn't take much for simple competition to turn into a full-blown conflict. All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. What is it about oil that makes it so critical that entire nations are willing to go to war over it? That nickname, black gold, really just says it all, doesn't it? Because oil isn't just a fuel, it's a strategic asset. If you control the oil, you control economies, you control military power, and you have massive global influence. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate geopolitical weapon. You can really think of oil as the foundation for three huge pillars of any modern country's power. First, it powers our transportation, moving all our stuff and all of us around. Second, it drives industry, literally creating everything we use day to day. And third, and this might be the most important one, it fuels the entire machinery of modern militaries. You take away the oil, and a nation's whole power structure could just crumble. And look, the whole idea of fighting wars over oil isn't some theory about the future. It's a historical fact. We have clear, dramatic proof from our own recent past of just how high the stakes can get. In fact, there are two major conflicts in recent history that you just can't understand without looking at the massive role oil played. Let's start with the first one, the Gulf War. Okay, so the Gulf War back in 1990 was about as direct as it gets. Iraq invaded Kuwait for one big reason, to grab its massive oil fields. I mean, if they had succeeded, they would have controlled a huge chunk of the world's entire oil reserves. So the international response, yeah, it was about protecting Kuwait for sure, but it was also about something much bigger. It was about stopping one single country from getting a chokehold on the global oil supply. A move like that could have sent absolutely catastrophic shockwaves through the entire world economy. Now, fast forward to the 2003 Iraq War, and things get a lot more complex. The official reason given, of course, was the threat of weapons of mass destruction. But it's pretty widely accepted now that securing Iraq's absolutely enormous, untapped oil reserves was a huge underlying factor. And think about what that really means for a second. Controlling those fields wasn't just about oil prices. It was about totally reshaping the energy map of the Middle East and locking in long-term influence in one of the most strategic regions on the planet. So, those conflicts really set a powerful precedent. But the tension over oil didn't just disappear after that. Oh no, it's just shifted to new places. So let's take a quick tour of today's global flashpoints. All right, our first stop is one of the busiest, most critical shipping lanes in the entire world. But the real tension here, it's not just about all those container ships. It's about what everyone believes is lying just beneath the seabed. You have China making these incredibly aggressive territorial claims, which puts it on a direct collision course with its neighbors. Countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, they're all actively pushing back against China's attempts to explore for oil and gas in what they see as their waters. And all of this is turned the whole region into a geopolitical powder keg just waiting to go off. So here's the key takeaway. The fight for the South China Sea is really a battle on two fronts. One is about controlling a vital artery for global trade, but the other, and maybe the even bigger one, is about getting their hands on the vast, untapped energy resources that everyone is convinced are hiding down there. Okay, let's shift gears and head over to Europe, because here the competition plays out in a totally different way. In this case, energy isn't just a resource to fight over on a battlefield, it's a political weapon to be used. For decades, one of the defining facts of European geopolitics has been its heavy reliance on Russian energy. I mean, at its peak, Russia was supplying almost 40% of Europe's natural gas. Think about that. That dependency, the very stuff used to heat homes and power entire industries, gave Moscow an incredible amount of political leverage. And let me tell you, Russia has not been shy about using this power. Just by threatening to turn down the tap, to restrict the flow of oil and gas, it can put immense pressure on European countries. It can influence their foreign policy and basically assert its dominance over the region. It's economic warfare, really, at its most effective. So where is all of this heading? Well, the future of this global energy competition is really being shaped by the world's biggest superpowers. And this brings us to what is really the fundamental strategic clash of our time. You've got the United States on one side, which has, for a very long time, focused on keeping control and influence in key oil-producing regions like the Middle East. And then on the other side, you have China. Its need for energy is just insatiable, and it's driving them all over the world, Africa, South America, you name it, trying to lock down the long-term supplies it desperately needs to keep its economy growing. So this all leads to a pretty hopeful question, doesn't it? As we all start moving toward renewables, solar, wind, all that good stuff, will the power of oil finally start to fade? Could this long, long era of conflict over oil finally be coming to an end? But then again, maybe that's being a bit too optimistic, because we have to ask ourselves a tougher question. Was the problem ever really about oil? Or is it just in our nature to fight over whatever resource happens to be the most valuable at any given time? And that's the thought I really want to leave you with today. As we move away from fossil fuels, the spotlight is already shifting to other things, to lithium, cobalt, all those rare earth minerals we need for batteries, and all this green tech. So the landscape is changing, for sure, but the fight for resources, that could very well continue. So I'll ask you, what do you think the next great resource war will be fought over?